In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this issue of Marketing in the Age of AI. Thanks for joining me. Today we are going to dig in under the hood of marketing inside marketing agencies and how the agencies are actually promoting in order to create brand authority and leveraging tools, AI, and traditional. And my guest today is I'm going to say frequent guest. We're getting into frequent guest, Michael Buzinski, often known as Buzz. And according to ChatGPT, he is best known as a lifelong entrepreneur, digital marketing thought leader, and best-selling author.
Well,
Buzz.
Like ChatGPT.
Thanks so much for getting back on here with me.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to dig in a little bit. I mean, I love what you're doing, especially on LinkedIn, where I feel like I'm one of your friends. You're talking to me, you're showing me your guitars and dancing bears, and so I think there's some personalization that I'm getting from the campaign from you as thought leader or whatever we call that. That's not annoying. So. That's what I wanted to ask you about. It was like, what's your strategy is, and kind of what does it look like when you start thinking about Buzinski and your agency and what you're actually doing with that strategy?
Well, it's funny that we're having this conversation now because I'm right in the middle of re-strategizing.
Oh, good, even better.
Yeah, right. And so I think thought leadership is still a thing. I don't think it's cliched quite yet, or at least as much as like authenticity is.
Oh, thanks. Ouch.
It wasn't a dig. It's just there's no other way to say it, so we're screwed.
I know. It's just like thought leadership. It's the same thing. It's like,
right, yeah. Like I liken it to there's a recent move to change homeless to unhomed. And I'm like,
yeah,
un and less mean the same exact thing. So you putting it at the beginning just makes it more prevalent that they don't have a home. So
right.
I don't understand. And I haven't met a homeless person that says, I'm so glad they call me unhomed over homeless. Right. Yeah, it's like, so right. Like, I think we have to sometimes just kind of get over ourselves in the fact that we try to marketers try to reinvent everything, right? Like
absolutely.
The fundamentals of marketing haven't changed in thousands of years. Why people buy things or trade what they value currently for things that they want to now value more, right? Sure. And that trade is always going to be there, and we're doing it through time, energy, and money. And so so we're moving away from the marketing agency space. I owned a creative agency for 13 years. And I closed that 7 years ago. And I reimagined it as a integrated marketing firm where we did a lot of the standard stuff in the marketing, but reframing it in a holistic space, which now everybody's holistic. So now that doesn't have a differentiator. And so we really started looking at how can we niche even further down. Okay, and a few years ago, we decided we really focus on the B2B service-based firms. That's who we serve, right? So businesses serving businesses and solving problems, because that's what B2B service-based businesses do. That's all they do is solve another business's problem, right? Yep. And so I have frameworks that I've created over the last 20 years and in perfecting my craft. And so this new age of buzzworthy is going to look even more like a strategy firm than a marketing firm. as we move into the lower mid-market, emerging and lower mid-market B2B firms, right? So we're looking at the 7-figure and the lower 8-figure space. 2 to 20 million is our target.
Yep.
We got clients all the way up to 100 million, but our message, getting it really focused in, and that's one of my frameworks, is focus, and using it on ourselves. It's even harder because when you're cheating. And so trying to reimagine and it all is not needed. It's not necessary. The fundamentals haven't changed. And with AI on the precipice, I think that the fundamentals are even more important. So we're going back and saying, okay, where is the noise versus the fundamentals that are going to help us through that? And really kind of simplifying the process of what does it look like and how can we do it consistently? Because I think in today's age, marketing firms are commoditized, right? We're a dime a dozen. It's very hard for agencies to differentiate themselves from anybody else. I hear it all the time, right? But the more that we find ourselves where our expertise is, like there's agencies that are really good at fulfillment, if you will, like doing the tactics, being the technicians.
Yep.
Other firms like ours, that those are fine, and we could dive into that. It's just not where my passion's at.
Right.
So going strategies and building the overarching frameworks in which these tactics serve, right? And I think that people need to realize that, as agencies specifically, that if you're an agency, you need to decide whether you're a tactics or a strategy, because tactics and strategy puts you in with a lot of people, and a lot of people who are underperforming because they're trying to do too much, right?
Yeah.
That's where you have to decide, what are you best at? There's a couple books out there that you can read about, like if you can't be the best, don't even do it, right? Being good is not good enough. You have to strive to be the top 3. And other people say you don't have to be the best, but be in the top 3, right? Be in the top 5 of all of the hundreds of thousands of people who call themselves marketers in just the United States, let alone the rest of the world, right? And so all of our back end stuff is all about content. But everybody's spitting out AI content.
Right.
We're going back to the basics. And so I have a podcast, and it peaked at number 12 of all marketing podcasts in the United States.
That's
Not
awesome.
12%, not 2%, 12.
Yeah.
I was like 6 removed from Gary V. and Russell Brunson. Like,
that's amazing.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. This is good, right? But anybody who's doing a podcast, including you, if we're not getting a return on an investment as far as what we're looking for us, we want to connect with those B2B firms and CMOs and marketing directors within those firms looking to get a better strategy, right?
Right.
And we were getting 30,000, 40,000, 45,000 downloads a month, but no conversion. So we're re-looking at what's not working, right? And I think that that's like the call to action for everybody. Like, we're looking at 2026 right now. Yeah. We'll launch our initiatives Q4 of 2025 so that we have a whole 90 days of momentum coming into 2026. Anybody who starts planning 2026 in Q4 will be behind.
Right.
Right. And I think that people forget that. It's like, hey, it's working. Is it working as well as it can? Is that what you're going to do for the next year? Because if you wait till 2026 to do it, you'll only get about 2/3 of 2026 to use it. But if you start planning now, so the things that we have in place are not stopping, but by Q4, we're already going to be rolling into 2026 with the new strategy in 2025. Because
I like it.
what we're, a lot of us as firms, we see, right, Q3 is where we sign a lot of business, right? Q2, Q3, those are our hot spots for whatever reason, right? We do a lot of Q4 and Q1, we'll pick up some stuff, but like the big stuff, like I'm signing on a bunch of people this month, right? And it's just like, wow. And there are people that have been clients before, they're coming back to us. Folks who have been kicking the tire all summer, finally getting going, those types of things. People who are forward thinkers, the people who, that we align with in our core values and our culture. So we're in sync, and that's good, right? And that's who you want there. So I hope that answers your question. I know that's a long answer.
No, it's good. That was a good, there's lots to chew on there. Well, let's talk about how you boil down your strategy that is strategic agency targeting 2 to 20 million CMOs. How do you then boil that inside your agency into a content calendar, for instance?
Right. So the content, so I usually look at the content flywheel more than a calendar, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because your frequency can change, but your flywheel won't,
Right.
right? And
Yep.
so we know that we have something with the podcast. So the
Right.
podcast is resonating, it just hasn't converting yet. So we have traffic and we just need to optimize conversion. So we're not reinventing anything on the podcast. And from the podcast is my voice.
Right.
Well, what better place to start with than the thought leader's voice?
That's the power of the podcast right there.
Right. Right.
And everybody
So-
should take note of that. If you don't have a podcast, get a freaking stop what you're doing today right now and start your podcast.
Just start it. I mean, and for me, we used to, when I started a few years ago, we were all interviews and they were 45 minutes long and then they became 30 minutes. And we found that 20 minutes was the sweet spot. It might not be for you. If you're streaming, it's going to be a little longer. There's all sorts of stuff that go into that. And you need to get with a podcast marketing expert to help you with that. You need to get with an advisor to help you streamline your production if you're going to try to do it yourself, or what I say is like outsource it to somebody who that's what they do, right? Unless you're a media production house already and you already do that work, why are you going to add that to your bandwidth? You already don't have enough bandwidth. So we are looking at the flywheel in creating more bandwidth for Michael Buzinski so he can run a business and not a media house.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So with that, now for us, we brought my background is in media production. So I brought a team on that's dedicated to me, right? And my show. Now, are we offering that to our clients? No, it's not part of strategy. That's fulfillment. Got to stay away from the fulfillment. So unless I have a special client that's like, I just know that we're going to have to take care of that for a time being while we find somebody. Yeah, we might do that, but it's not going to be part of our core offering.
Understood.
Okay? And that's what people need to realize. It comes down to one core offer. Right. So if it's marketing strategy, you might have things behind that and that's fine. But in your marketing, get really focused on what you want. So my podcast is about marketing strategy for B2B service-based business. Now, from that, I can take that transcript and I can utilize AI to help spin my monologue, because all my shows are now monologues. Or if I do have an interview with, say, somebody like Mike McCallowitz or Gino Wickman or anything like that I've had in the show in the past, I can now take that and make that into a blog. But I need to make that into a blog that is answering questions that people are asking online from search engines and from AI. People are creating a lot of content that is just noise. Like nobody's asking that question. So why are you answering it? Right. Yep. So if you're doing a monologue like I am, my new strategy is then start with the right questions, answer them, and give all of the data, like give it all away, right? 100%. Because if they're going to try to use what you're giving for free, they weren't your client in the first place.
Right. Exactly.
So once you have a blog and then you take that and you make we do content marketing as one of our strategies in the behind the scenes, right? So, I already have a team that can then take that transcript and make a blog. Then you're making an article. Then you're making social media posts. On the video side, the production teams now cutting those into bite size for reels and video posts and all that good stuff. And then the graphic designer is doing that. But that's the flywheel effect, right? And so now you can plug that into your content calendar as far as what your frequency and all that stuff. So we're looking at not doing a weekly show anymore.
Interesting.
We're talking about doing a bi-weekly show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because we are, well, I am guessing, because we're always guessing, right? I'm guessing that we're giving too much information too frequently.
And so what's the downside of that?
The downside is, well, if you're just starting out, the downside is that you don't get the momentum. So if you're just starting out, we always say, like, if somebody says, well, you do it once a week, every week, once a month, I was like, if you're just starting out, you need the frequency. We've been around for a few years now.
Right.
So when I market our podcast, people are going to binge out 152 episodes. Okay. Yep. All the information's there. Now we're just reframing it. Right. Now we're just answering this question specifically so that AI can pick it up. So somebody's searching for it can find us easier. Right. Yeah, it's not about reinventing the wheel. Now it's just refreshing what we already have. And so if I can use those past episodes and promote those, I now have just as much visibility, right?
Yeah.
But if I was just starting out and I was doing every other week, now I don't have enough frequency and I don't have enough for people to binge. But you could binge my show for a week and still be having some episodes there.
How many episodes do you have completed right now?
154 episodes now
Nice. Yeah.
on
So,
one podcast. And then we have 54 on my interview podcast, or the Buzzworthy Consultant podcast, where we kind of do what you and I are doing.
yeah, I got you. I love that you're searching for the questions or the pain points that people have, and then monologuing on that. I think that I'm going to steal that from you.
Yeah, I think everybody should.
Yeah. Because I think that's the hardest
that
part.
you're solving are not the problems I'm solving.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if we were,
Right.
say, Emanuel and Buzz are out there doing the same 2 to 20 million B2B service based, how you answer the question, how I answer the question are going to hit different people differently. And we can't serve all the people. There's more business than all of us combined, that all of us can serve combined. Right.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
If we all just said, hey, every lead's going in and we're doing round robin, there would still be leads left over.
For sure. Yeah.
There's so much there. There's so much need for it. And the problem is that we're all trying to get all the business versus just getting the right business.
Right. Yeah. I'm working on a project and I saw there's a $12 billion niche that we're targeting, and there's only 12 firms serving it. Like,
nice. What is your niche?
I'm not going to say it out loud, especially not on the air.
This is the thing. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You could get 15 more firms come in there. If you understand it better than them, who cares?
Yeah.
You're going to sound like a genius for anybody trying to impose upon you. Because this is the beautiful thing about marketing. When you're good at what you do and you have a passion or a mission for who you serve,
right,
everybody else fades away. I had a client that they've been kicking around for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Okay. They finally getting around to it and they started interviewing. And every time they interviewed with me, right to the top. And then they would go and look around, and then it would kind of get muddled up. And then they'd talk to me right to the top. And I got 3 calls from 3 different people from that company saying, you just talk to us because I resonate, because I'm being honest. I am being authentic, right?
Right.
In that authenticity, when people are trying to copy you, they come off bad.
It's cardboard.
And it makes you look even better. So
sure.
I challenge you to tell people who your target market is, because at some point you're going to have to, otherwise you're going to miss it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And using let them make you look better by being imposters.
Yeah.
They're not going to, I've seen it one too many times in too many industries. People try to knock you off. Guess what? If you thought that was an issue, then why do people like Gary Vee and Anil Patel and those guys give you all of the secrets, right? Russell Brunson tells you exactly how he sells to you, and you keep buying it, right?
Yeah.
And how many people have tried to knock him off?
Well, right. They're just following his system, right? That's not
right. And they can't knock him off because he's the guy, right?
Yeah, right.
So for us, we have a niche now. There's the 2 to 20 million is another mini blue ocean in there.
Sure.
And there's a reason why, though. And I just have process now that can serve that really well, so that if somebody wants to copy me, they're going to copy me, but they're just going to sound like everybody else that has copied me over the last 20 years. You know how many times I've been copied?
Right.
Like, I used to have agencies come to my seminars teaching people about digital marketing back in the 2000 aughts.
Right.
Their people, they would send their people to me, to my seminars and my lunch and learns and all that other stuff to go, so how do we do this?
Right.
Did I kick them out of the room? Absolutely not. Their clients are not my clients.
Right.
Their circles are not my circles. And there's more business than we can get there. So I implore you to own it, because the sooner you own it, the more they're going to look like copycats. But if you keep it quiet and they figure it out, now you're the copycat.
No, right.
You don't want to be the copycat.
No, not a chance of that. That's not my style. That's not my strategy.
You'll have to go find another. But if you keep it quiet and somebody else gets louder,
right,
then doesn't matter if that's not your style. That's what happens, because perception is 100% reality to the user, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I say, call it out, call it early, call it loud. The loudest person wins, not the best.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is now is there's so much noise, it's almost impossible. I do an analogy of like going into a networking event where there's 100 people in the room and you go to the front door and you start talking like this. That's what it's like right now in marketing, no matter where you're at, what industry you're in, right? No matter how niche you are, you still are one voice amongst hundreds of thousands of voices saying the same thing, right?
Yeah.
We haven't reinvented the wheel. We haven't
No.
created a new type of fire. So we have to use a lot of the same words. We have to put it in a sequence that resonates with the people that we really need to do. So while we're talking about under the hood, this is what I struggle with. Everybody should struggle with it over and over and over again, because once you start using it, guess what? Now AI is picking up what you are creating when you get out there to actually market it and is giving it to other people.
Right.
As ideas, right? So now that's going to go and combine and combine and combine. And so, yeah, that's my take.
Well, that's good. I like it. Let's see. I'm wondering, so 2026 strategy only. What are you seeing as your primary channel still? It's gonna be podcasts and
Podcasts and blogs. I stopped blogging when we went from when I closed the creative agency. We used to blog. I used to blog every week. And that, I mean, we would get for years, actually, after I even stopped blogging, I'd get leads. Right.
Yep.
And now everything that I'm seeing in AEO, SEO, all that stuff, and even in account-based marketing, having that thought leadership and giving that to people, writing another book in 2026 is as part of that, but that's going to be a 2027 launch.
Yeah,
right? Because
so
it takes a year to make a good book. Like a lot of people are like, I'm gonna write a book in the next quarter. I'm like, yeah, I did that. And I did. I wrote a short book and it worked, right? The rule of 26 got me on a lot of stages, whole 9 yards. But now I look back on it, where we're going now. This is great for startup and emerging firms, right? That don't know anything about website marketing. But now we're in a new space. I need to now be a thought leader in that space. I need to write a book that will stick out from all the other marketing books that talks to our frameworks and how our process is going to resonate with whomever that is. Because I've had people read that book, they're still clients of mine. Hundreds of thousands of dollars later, as far as billables go, millions of dollars in outcomes for them just from reading a simple book. Right. So, but yes, 2026 is reestablishing, this the new face of Buzzworthy. We're going to go actually coming back to the original look, or a rendition of our original look of our logo. So we're taking a step back to take a step forward type of thing. Just re-looking at everything and sticking to it.
You're doing your own heritage marketing. I like that.
Yeah. It's like, hey, take your own advice for love of Pete.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm doing new this time around though? I've already hired 3 consultants, one for my podcast, one for social media for LinkedIn, and one for my Meta advertising.
Yes, beautiful.
Because we have historically not advertised Buzzworthy on Meta or anything else out there. And so I'm like, okay, instead of us sitting there and tooling around and figuring out, why don't we grab people who that's all they do and say, hey, this is my strategy. Here's my message. This is what I'm going to do. How does that work in the confines of this, the podcast, this, that, and optimizing all of that so that my LinkedIn does even resonate even more with Samuel, even better for the people who don't know me. Bring them in and get them to subscribe to things that I'm talking about. Get them to reach out and say, you know what, Buzz, I really like what you're saying and I want to hear more and I want you to implement it in my company. And that's what every marketer needs for their space, period.
No, and I what I hear from that, and I also do this, which is the humility to say, this is something we're not good at. We need to get help with it, even though it's in the marketing space, right? And you could be arrogant about it and say, no, we're going to figure this out and grind it out. But the time horizons are totally off if you do it that way.
I'm going to tell you right now, 20 years ago, I would have tried to figure it out because I didn't have the money. But now we're in that space where you say, you're always looking at, do you have more time than money or more money than time?
Right.
Now I look at it is that I have time because I run my business better and I have the money. So which one am I going? But what opportunity cost do I have for trying to figure it out myself?
Yep.
Right. Faster to launch means faster to test. More testing means better results.
Yep.
So either you spend the time figuring out how to do it, or you spend time figuring out how to do it better.
Yeah. And if it was something you're passionate about, you're happy to go dive in there and figure it out. But if it's not, then yeah, it's better. You're better off to hire.
Yeah.
And get the
But I
help.
mean, why try to figure it out when there's people who can already get you to where you need to be?
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
I love it. I think that's a great take of the show right there. Buzz, I appreciate it. How do people get in touch with you if they want to have a conversation?
You can go to my website at buzzworthy.biz. I'm always on LinkedIn, as Samuel was saying, Michael Buzinski. And if you want to check out my book called The Rule of 26, go to ruleof26.com. Got a free copy. I'll sign it for you and everything.
That's awesome. And all that will be in the show notes, of course. And thank you very much for spending some time with me today, Buzz. It's always a pleasure.
It was awesome.
Thank you. Strategy, which is to niche into a very specific part of the business that you're in, and get very good at that top 3. I like that. That's a very fine goal, very focused goal. Also, I love that we were talking about if it's something you're not good at, hire an expert who is good at it and get yourself out of that loop of figuring it out. I hope that you got some value from the episode today. I also hope that you take some time to find some tools to help your business move ahead quicker, and that with that extra time that you spend it with your friends, your family, or that you get outside in nature and get away from the screens. This is Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.